Sing me a song of a lass that is gone.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylee and today's video is a video in a video series about the amazing book Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, written by Diana Gabaldon. Now this is a chapter by chapter series, so if you have not read up to chapter 24 of this book, you will definitely get spoilers. So if you don't want the spoilers, please click away. There will definitely be some other Outlander content here on the channel for you to go and enjoy. But if you're okay with spoilers and you're okay with knowing what has happened up to this point in the book, then stick around. Let's talk about chapter 24. Chapter 24 has possibly been the longest chapter that I've read in this book. Now, that may not be true, that may not be technically true, but it definitely felt like it. It felt like we got a lot of storyline in this book, even though it was all set on basically one night. Now, this chapter is predominantly told by Claire, and it is set at home in the house that's being built. The chapter title, Alarms by Night, did definitely alarm me when I first jumped into this chapter. I thought, oh no, here we go, alarm bells, it's going to be, oh no, here we go. But it wasn't that bad. It wasn't the doom and gloom that I know is definitely coming. Now, the chapter starts off with young Jemmy running into Claire to say that there is something wrong with Frances, that she's doubled over in pain, holding her stomach, and that he has seen blood. Now, instantly I thought, oh, here we go. Poor Frances. She's, starting to go into the cycle of life and it's all beginning to happen for her, which is exactly what happened. So Claire goes in to see if Frances is okay and tells Jem, you best just go jump into bed with Grandpa and go snuggle up with Jamie while she tends to Frances. Now, during her conversations with Frances and explaining to her what is actually happening with her body, Claire realizes that poor young Frances has started to think that, she was starting to become a woman, and that means that she was about to become basically a whore or be pimped out, and just absolutely her world was about to change and come crumbling down around her, which broke my heart, that to think that this, that's what would have happened in those days. And it's just, it absolutely broke my heart reading this chapter. Claire, of course, realizes that she's been thinking this because she's gone over memories of, oh yeah, she did start to get a bit distant in the last month or so, and she has sort of started to take a step back. But obviously, as soon as Claire realized that this was Frances's thought pattern, Claire put an end to that instantly, and she explained that that would definitely not be happening under any conditions at all. That would never be happening to her in this family household. Jimmy then is awoken and he comes into the room and explains, well, he just woke up with Jem in his bed, so what is going on? Is everything okay? Claire kind of explains what has been happening in the last sort of 20 minutes time frame, and Jamie gives Frances the biggest grandpa hug you could ever imagine. This is so touching. I mean, it's just absolutely... It really, we all know how much we all love Jamie, but every time I read a new chapter, I'm like, oh man, he's just the best. He really is just the best. Jamie, of course, tells Frances instantly that no man will ever take you against your will as long as I live. Now, obviously, we knew that was going to come into play. Jamie would never let anything happen to any member of his family or anybody for that aspect, in that sort of terms. But for him to be able to say that to her and give her that reassurance was just absolutely lovely. And she, of course, just gave him back the biggest hug you could imagine. I mean, this poor girl, imagine how she's been thinking the last month. Okay, I've been brought to this house. I'm about to have to, earn my keep, basically. And for her to be thinking that, she must have been so stressed. Thinking about it back in that time frame, any young woman would have been stressed as soon as that sort of life change was happening. I just couldn't imagine it. I just couldn't imagine it at all. We also have some more conversations with Frances in regards to her sister Jane and her mum. Now, it was really something unique when Frances produced a locket and it had a single photo in it with a young girl, and on the other side of the locket was inscribed Faith. Now, Claire obviously seen this and was a little bit rattled, but Frances explained that that was her mother, and that's the only thing she really has left of her. But obviously we knew the connection with Faith being for Claire's daughter, which I found really interesting that they would sort of bring that in sort of now in this aspect. Obviously it rattled Claire a little bit, so let's just keep that in mind. Frances is then tucked away back into bed, and the conversation is more towards Jamie and Claire now being alone and having their own private conversation. Now, obviously the locket rattled Claire enough for a conversation about Master Raymond to come up. Now, we all know Master Raymond is one of my favourite characters in this entire series. He's one of my absolute favourite sideline characters that I just need to come back. I am fingers crossed, praying that if he's not in this book somewhere else down the line, and please don't tell me if he is, but I hope he is, that if he's not, his own book is coming, because I love him. So when the conversation came up and he jumped into it, oh, I was so intrigued and I was so interested. Then when it came up that, you know, Claire is starting to believe that, well, Master Raymond came with the blue light and, you know, saved her life. What if he had also saved Faith's life? And then obviously, you know, he didn't have time to tell her. And then the next time, you know, she's seen Master Raymond, she was basically saying, you know, the trial thing. So, you know, maybe he just hasn't had time. Jamie, of course, reassures her that no, that can't have happened. You know, he would have found a way to tell you if he had been able to save Faith. And Claire obviously does realize that, yeah, well, that's more than likely true. But just that doubt, that seed of doubt that could have been, like, it was placed in my mind. So imagine what it would have been to Claire's mind, thinking, well, what if? Like, what if he did save her? The conversation then comes up with Jamie about Master Raymond and the blue light and the fact that it had been seen more than once by Claire. Now, I completely forgot about this until Claire reminded me in this chapter that she also saw the blue light with Mulver's baby. Now, I am so interested, on a side note this is, to see how they, or if they do that in the season 6 episodes. Spoiler alert, sorry. But if, I'm really interested to see if they have some sort of blue light effect with Mulver's baby. That will really intrigue me. But I loved how I completely forgot that aspect happened in this book series, and I'm so glad that it was brought up here, because it locks it in. Yeah, okay, there's been blue light there. Okay, there's been blue light with Roger when, you know, he was sort of being fixed by the other guy. And then it was also, like, I just can't wait. I can't wait for this blue light to, you know, I want Claire's hair completely white. I want to know what the power is going to be that she's able to do to her extreme. Like, I want to see what her final power is. Getting off track. The conversation is then brought back to that, obviously, and it is discussed all about it. Claire then also realizes, and I don't know if this is the first time that she really realized it, that Master Raymond may in fact be her relation. I mean, I know we've all sort of, it's come up in other things and things like that, and definitely chat forums, that Master Raymond has to be related to Claire along the lines, but for Claire to finally realize it herself that, you know, Master Raymond is most possibly an ancestor of hers traveling through time, what other connections are going to come up? I mean, I absolutely love that her thoughts are coming out in this aspect. Like, so she thought, okay, or she's clicked that Master Raymond might be her relation. I'm so glad that she's just saying it out loud and it's not just being assumed, and it's something that we as a reader are meant to assume. I'm glad that it's actually being, like, said aloud. I absolutely enjoyed this chapter simply because of the aspects of bringing in Master Raymond and the fact that the blue light got a mention. These are all key things that I really hope are answered, or we've given a little bit more information throughout this book. Because these, like the Frank's book, the blue light, these are all things that I really want to know. Like, I want to know this probably more than Jamie's ghost. That's just what I'm saying. Like, I want to know these answers. So I will be definitely back tomorrow with another chapter review because I need to keep reading this book. I hope you are all enjoying the series that we're doing here. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. I am also doing a giveaway video for the fact that we hit 3,000 subscribers. So if you haven't entered that, please go jump over onto that video and it will explain to you all the ways that you can enter. So definitely please go in so you can win your own copy of Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone and some additional Outlander gifts. I hope you're having a great day, and like I said, I'll see you tomorrow for another Outlander video. Have a great day. Bye.
Sing me a song of a lass that